American cars and V8 engines go hand in hand with one another. That's why we've seen so much crossover between the two over the years. Whether it's in the form of a heavy workload pickup truck, an opulent cruiser that just wants to rack up the highway miles, or fire-breathing muscle cars that tear up the drag strip, America's love for the V8 is infinite. Over the years, American V8 have also matured into some of the most reliable engines you'll find in any corner of the world, which has no doubt transpired because of the amount of use that's required out of them. To help you understand which American V8s are the most trustworthy, we've put together a list of 10 of the very best. One of the longest-serving engines in history, the Chevrolet small block V8 has surely got to go down as one of the greatest. It's still not known how long customers will be able to continue buying them for. But given that it has gone through countless updates over the years, the day it does retire will be a sad one for the entirety of the car world. Built from the ground up to be robust and durable in nature, the inclusion of a cast-iron block and cylinder heads was not only simple and effective, but the fewer moving parts eventually meant that the small block V8 was super reliable. The vast amount of aftermarket support on offer also made it the perfect foundation for any petrolhead to build their dream muscle car with. The first inclusion from Henry Ford's legacy is the Ford Windsor V8, which refers to a selection of engines made by Ford between 1962 and the Big Millennium. With a wide displacement band across all its variations, the Windsor V8 also had a peak of 400 horsepower and a similar amount of torque in some of its most famous models, including the Ford Mustang. Ford is a byword for strength and durability, and being one of the brand's most famous engines, the Windsor V8 championed these qualities perfectly. It was designed to be light, and by using thin wall casting and a block that doesn't drop below the crankshaft, Ford achieved some great results. Ultimately, the Windsor continues to be revered for its performance and longevity. Making its debut nearly 60 years ago, the Chrysler V8 engine was used across numerous Dodge and Plymouth models and ranged from 3.7 to 5.9 liters. It was considerably torquey, with a peak of 400 pound-feet in some models, which was one of the characteristics that made it so very strong. By incorporating large bearings alongside the cast-iron block and cylinder heads, the LA V8's rugged reliability comes from its simplicity and ease of maintenance. Some owners have reported years between service intervals without suffering faults, and while we wouldn't recommend doing that, it goes to show just how tough these V8s are. While it doesn't quite have the glowing reputation of its smaller sibling, the Chevrolet Big Block V8 should not be underestimated. It featured in countless fan-favorite muscle cars, including the Chevrolet Chevelle SS and Impala SS models. The engine was a genuine leader during one of the most famous periods in muscle car history, and that alone makes it a worthwhile inclusion here. While high-performance V8s aren't always associated with reliability, the Chevy Big Block certainly can be. Its large bore and sturdy internals make it a viable option for heavy-duty work. But when applied to a muscle car, a peak output of 500 horsepower and 550 pound-feet of torque makes it as exciting as any other engine out there. Packing a huge 5.7-liter displacement, the Cleveland was also capable of churning out a peak of 400 horsepower and 450 pound-feet of torque. It's most commonly associated with the legendary Ford Mustang Boss 351. Its reliability is down to a number of clever engineering decisions, such as the inclusion of canted valves and large ports. These traits, alongside the generally robust construction and the growing emphasis Ford put on engine reliability at the time, made the Cleveland V8 one of America's most bulletproof engines ever. Remember the achingly gorgeous 1970 Buick Riviera that Richard Hammond drove during the Grand Tour Lockdown Special? It's just one of the great old-school Buicks that was powered by the Nailhead V8 during that era. The engine itself was known for its peculiar valve arrangement, but this didn't stop it from being durable. One common trait that you'll find with the engines on this list is that they're simple, and the Buick Nailhead V8 epitomizes this. Efficient engineering and the use of a robust cast-iron block and cylinder heads, which were widely adopted at the time, meant that it was quick and easy to repair. Built over a 41-year span and coming in at a huge 7.5-liter displacement in its largest form, the Oldsmobile Rocket is undoubtedly one of General Motors' best engines for reliability. It was the world's first mass-produced overhead valve V8 engine and inspired a number of other manufacturers to adopt the use of overhead valves too. Given that these engines used to be used in NASCARs and continue to be used in hot rod racing, they needed to be strong and durable. Despite the Rocket V8's large size, it was velvety smooth during both use and idle, and is associated with reliability and strength above all else. Its strong internals paved the way for it to become a game changer. The wave of Pontiac goodness we saw during the mid to late 20th century was powered by the Pontiac V8. With a peak of 500 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque from a maximum of 7.5 liters, this engine was not to be messed with. So often claimed to be one of the pioneering engines of the muscle car era, what made the Pontiac V8 special was the fact that it had the same outer block dimensions and configuration regardless of whether its displacement was as low as 4.5 liters or as high as 7.5. This revolutionary development meant that it could survive a number of modifications and still remain reliable. What an engine! The AMC V8 is a family of engines that was used by many AMC and Jeep models between 1966 and 1991. And while it may not be the most powerful engine on this list, it's one of the most durable. It was created specifically for huge workloads, and a great example of this is the fact that its cast-iron construction means it can handle high stress and temperature levels. Featuring a forged crankshaft connecting rods and pistons, as well as a hydraulic camshaft and lifters, the AMC V8 has garnered a huge cult following over time. Its dedicated fan base has come to appreciate its rugged dependability and versatility, since it's equally comfortable with daily driving duties as it is on off-road adventures. Arguably at the head of the list of Ford engines that revolutionized the auto industry, the modern design of the Ford Modular V8 has been celebrated for its dependability. By making use of an advanced engine management system, electronic fuel injection, and engine control modules, the engine guaranteed efficient combustion and commendable performance. What made the Modular V8 so strong from the offset was that Ford stress-tested each one extensively before it left the factory. This was done by recreating road conditions and putting it through harsh temperature tests. As expected, this has allowed the Modular V8 to demonstrate the sort of longevity and reliability that many of its competitors have been unable to keep up with. Well, there you have it. 10 American V8 engines with bulletproof reliability. Have we missed any more? What V8 engines do you think should be in this list instead? Comment down below and let's discuss. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe and like button to keep you updated on our future uploads. Until then, I'll catch you on the next one.